Hi VC, how you doing? Um, I'm doing a regular update. Unbelievable. So hope everybody's well out there, and haven't been keeping up my end of the bargain. Been watching everybody else's posts and haven't posted anything myself. So in a while, not a real vinyl update. So thought I'd do that. I did one the other night. Thursday night? Must have been Thursday night. Or Wednesday night. And I'm leaning down like this because Dexter's hanging out with me. And poor lighting here. And it just looked terrible. And it was 37 minutes long. I didn't want to put anybody through that. I didn't even want to watch it. So anyway, Dexter, say hello. This is Dexter. He had a kind of a rough week, but also a good week. He went to the vet and did not want to be at the vet. And as soon as the lid went off of his cat carrier, he went for the door. He was jumping all over the walls. He was trying to get out of there as best he could. He finally settled down underneath a bench, and they had a little magic, some kind of magic spray that they put on a towel, and I put it next to him to calm cats down. And then I put his cat carrier down there, and he crawled in, and they got a couple of other assistants, and they were able to get a hold of him, and he wasn't struggling, and they let him, he let them examine him after a while, but boy, it scared me. But after that, he's been fine. He got checked out just fine. Blood, everything, no problems. He's still got that neurological issue, but I'm going to check it down. He, one issue is that yes, you're okay. One issue is that he was having trouble eating, and I had to literally help him eat. He would start eating, licking with his tongue, but he couldn't get to the food, even though the food was right next to him. So I would hold his head and sort of move his head and his tongue into where the food was. So I spent several months doing that, and about a week ago, after the appointment, I took the food out of the can. I thought I'll try a plate again. Same problem with a plate or a bowl. He just couldn't eat his food. I put it in a plate, and all of a sudden, he's eating his food, and he's eating it just fine. I put down a can of food, and it's gone like that. So he's eating on his own. He's eating really well. Whatever the problem was, he's worked it out, and that's great. So I'm very happy. But this isn't a Dexter update. It's a vinyl update, and let's start doing that right now. Promise. And first thing I want to talk about is what we're listening to. You can hear it back there a little bit. A few updates ago, you might have seen me show some of these 45s, jazz 45s that were made for jukebox plays. And this particular one, Miles Davis at Carnegie Hall, rechanneled for stereo. So this is electronically rechanneled for stereo. I was at Jive Time, it was like last week, and I found it's Big Brother, the full album. And I just love this cover. I don't know why. Maybe it's because it's orange and green, and how often do you see orange and green together? It's got a brontosaurus holding Miles Davis. I don't know. I want to find the art director on this one and ask him a little bit. But anyway, this was like $5, and it's in fine shape. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it at all. A little noisy, but anyway, that's what's playing right now, and what we'll be playing through most of this video. Hopefully I'll be able to gauge my time by the end of this. When this ends, I'm going to say goodbye, and then I'll make another video, because I don't want these things to go too long. Oddly enough, it came in a capital inner sleeve, which is very strange. I have one like this, similar to this, where on this side it explains to you how records work, but this was new on the back, which is kind of cool. So very cool artwork, and it's just text on the back of this guy, but it's just a great cover. So anyway, it's probably not loud enough for you to hear. I don't know. That's fine. Just a little bit of background music. Where to go next? Well, let's just get right to the good stuff. Yesterday I went to Easy Street, and I picked this guy up, and I'm not going to take it out of the sleeve. There's no point in taking it out of the sleeve, but This is the Yamen Ghoul that I picked up. And it's a nice DJ copy. I looked on eBay. There's 2 listings for this album, this same version. One is a promo like this, a DJ copy. Only they have a rectangular sticker with rounded corners down here that says DJ promo copy instead, as opposed to this rounded sticker that I have here on the back here. The front cover's got a little bit of ring wear. The back cover's in perfect shape. There is a seam split up here that's probably 3/4 of the length of the record. This corner got a little crunched here, and the label number was right up there against the corner, and a piece of that kind of flaked off as I was kind of trying to nudge the corner back because it's kind of, blunted here. And so I saved that. I'm going to try to put that back in. I'll try to glue that back on very, very carefully. And I'm going to try to repair the seam split. I don't know. As far as collectability of a record goes, maybe you folks can tell me. Is it better to try to repair a seam split or just leave it the way it is? I know I'm not a big coin collector, but I remember somebody who was a coin collector saying, never shine your collectible coins. It's better to leave them aged the way they aged. So I don't know if I should leave it with the seam split, for future, because in the future I may decide to pass this along to someone. Anyway, show the inner sleeve. The inner sleeve is really cool because it looks like it's almost handmade. It's not just printed. It was almost like it was put on a press, because when you feel this text, especially this text right here, you can actually feel it on the paper. So and when you look back here on the back side, they must have printed right on this already pre-folded inner sleeve, because you can see the indentation of the lettering on the back of the sleeve here. So it's really interesting. Even this ring around here, you can almost feel this, but definitely this text right here, you can feel and you can see it on the back side here. But yeah, everything's in. It's the lyrics from A Fairy Tale from Garden of Sandosa. This side it's German, this side it's English, which is really interesting. And then the disc itself still needs to be cleaned, but it's basically, it's just dusty. It's got a little bit of dust on it, and maybe a few marks from being slid in and out of the paper. But I think for what the music is, and I think people must have put it on, listened to it once or twice, the radio station, and said, nothing here we're going to play, I guess. Well, whoever got this, because it's hardly been touched, hardly been played. But there's the Prophecy label, the promo label, the regular label. There's an example of it on the eBay listing that's the non-promo. And the white area you see is actually black, and the black sky area that you see is actually kind of a rainbow of yellow to orange to pink, kind of a sunset color behind the buildings. And the building windows are actually set so that they reflect some of the color. Some of the color comes through them as well. So that's kind of a really nice label when you see the color version of it. But this promo version is very cool. I really like it. And anyway, so, and I appreciate when I posted on Facebook a picture and asked the folks on the VC, what should I do? Recommendations here. I knew of Amon Düül. I didn't have any of their music and never see anything. Not even reissues or, boots or anything. So, getting some advice and getting some comments from people, that was very, very, very helpful. I appreciate that very much. I'm glad I got this. I also listened to it there at the store, like I said, and I liked what I heard. It's very interesting and very cool to have this. There's a couple other items there too I would like to have picked up, but if I had to pick and choose one thing, one big thing, it was going to be that. Also yesterday, for Rob, Mr. Paniques, if you're watching, guess what I got? It's a Smiths album, or not an album, but a 12-inch 45. William, it was really nothing. And it's just $5, and 12-inch single, the Smiths, yeah, $5, not a problem, especially if it's in great shape like this one is. And this one is in perfect shape. It's like side one. I love how there's such a gap on this where most of the music is right on the outer edge, and then there's a gap. and side 2 is filled up with several songs. So this was William It Was Really Nothing backed with William It Was Really Nothing. Oh no, How Soon Is Now, and Please, Please, Please Let Me Get What I Want. So, and did you notice something? Virgin label? It didn't register with me other than when I first looked at it, other than, oh, it's an import, which is good. Sire, I still would have probably bought it, but it was very cool that it was an import. And then it dawned on me that, well, it wouldn't have been on Virgin, it would have been on Rough Trade, I think. But I didn't realize that until I got home last night and looked at it. And I looked at the back cover, and I saw down here that there were a couple of, like there's some Greek lettering. I thought, well, that's kind of odd. And then I got out my electron microscope, because it's the only way you can actually read the text that's on the ring of the label. And, it's a Greek pressing, which is very cool. How odd to find a Greek press, two, very obscure things, Yamen Ghoul and a Greek pressing of a 12-inch single by the Smiths at the same store. So that was pretty cool. Now I disappear for a moment. I grab the inner sleeve, which slid down there. Dexter, you hanging out by the pool? His water dish. You hanging out by the pool, huh? Okay. You got fresh. I know you're not telling me that you need more water, because I put fresh water in there last night. He probably wants another can of food. He's been eating like crazy. But he gets 1 can of food in the morning, 1 can of food at night. Right? Right. Which is good. I'll start putting on some weight. Some more weight. Okay. This is where I eat up all the time when it comes to stuff like this, because it drives me crazy not to have the inner sleeve. When the inner sleeve is dog-eared like that, it drives me up the wall. Anyway. The Smiths. Picked up a couple other 12. I've been picking up a lot of 12-inch singles. They're pretty standard things here. Tears for Fears, The Way You Are. And it's a UK pressing. I've already got this, but I picked it up again anyway. Oh, I just noticed there's a big blotch there, so I might have to try to clean that off. But this is from the day this was released, I always refer to it as cloud bursting, but it's cloud busting. In my head, it's always cloud bursting. I want to throw an R in there for whatever reason. Kate Bush, $5. It was an easy pickup, even though I've got this. Nice to have another one at that price. Oh yeah, let me go ahead and move on to this. We'll just do this in order here. Recently did a trade and bought something from Eli B drummer, and this was I've had this before on CD, and I've also got the big CD box set that Steve Wilson did that has like 8 CDs in it or something ridiculous like that. I never had it on vinyl, so in the Court of the Crimson King, and I got this from Eli. Thank you very much for that. So this is the one I think I bought off you, and then I picked up a Kiss LP for him and did a trade for the Rolling Stones Flashpoint live album that's still sealed, which is very cool. Thanks again, Eli. Appreciate it. Look forward to doing more trades and whatnot. You seem to find some interesting things out there that I can't find here, and vice versa. So, where to next? Let's see. Well, here's a bit of an oddity. Not really. You know this person, Scott McCoy, if you recognize the name. This is a solo album by him called My Chartreuse Opinion. It came out in 1989. This is found a sealed copy of it at Sonic Boom, so I picked that up because I didn't have it. It's on Pop Llama Records. I believe it's on Pop Llama Records. Yeah, it's on Pop Llama Products. And Scott McCoy you'll know from bands like Dinette Set and and Young Fresh Fellows and Minus Five and REM. He is their second guitarist along with Peter Buck. So this is his solo album he did back in 1989 called My Chartreuse Opinion, and very happy to pick that up. A lot of this stuff I haven't listened to. I've heard that album before. I just never picked it up. I just remember hearing it when it was released. A lot of these things I bought and I haven't listened to, so I know it's a strange thing. some records I buy and I want to put them on right away and listen to them. And others, it's like, I know I got to buy them or I won't have them. They'll be gone. But don't necessarily want to listen to them right away. So, anyway. This next one is kind of a grail for me. I'm glad I waited because this is an excellent copy of it. And it's Buckingham Nicks. And it's in great shape. The cover's in great shape. And the vinyl's in great shape. You know, and in fact, it doesn't even open very well. You know, it starts to, you know, hold back when you go to open it. So, I always like that back cover. And I've had this in my hands before for about $20, and a really good, you know, similar, almost nice shape as this one. And I passed on it, and then I regretted it because I started seeing other copies that weren't in such a good shape, but they wanted like $20 and $25 for it. And I thought, oh, I'll never see it again at a decent price. And I was at Silver Platters, and there it was. So this time I got it. I made sure I had it. This is new Robyn Hitchcock that just came out. Love from London. It's a nice deluxe packaging. I love the artwork on it. It must be in a green these days because the green is very cool. And I like the painting. I think he does all of his own artwork. He's done his own artwork for a lot of his album covers. So not only his solo album covers, but the Soft Boys and so the Egyptians, Robyn Hitchcock and the Egyptians. So what's nice is here's the CD of the album right on the outside. It's like, great, terrific. But then the label says includes free MP3 download plus full CD of the album. Okay, you know, one or the other. I mean, it's great to have the CD too and the download, but anyway, it would have been cooler to have had like a 45 of an extra track or something. But I guess for Record Store Day, there's going to be a 12-inch EP of tracks that he's been releasing on his website. You can buy them now, but when they first come out, they're free. And I've gotten most of them because I would get emails from his website saying, you know, there's 2 new songs coming down on them for a limited time. And so I do that. And I think all those are going to be compiled and put on a 12-inch EP for Record Store Day, so I'm looking forward to that. And I got this little guy. Again, still sealed. I haven't listened to it. You know, all the cool kids are buying this one. So, also, it's not just that. It's not just peer pressure. I'm also buying it because I've heard the music, and someone posted the video, the animation to the title song, and it was great. I really loved it, and I thought, oh, I'm going to get that. And I'm backtracking with porcupine trees. Porcupine tree. I didn't mean to say trees. I found at Sonic Boom where I grabbed this. I also found a reissue of Lightbulb Sun, which is just phenomenal. I love this album. Never heard it before. But it's the double CD version of it where it's the regular CD, and then it has the multi-channel 5-to-1 mix with it as well. And I've got a setup here for it. I haven't listened to it that way yet. I just have listened to the CD of it first, so I'm looking forward to listening to the multi-channel version. Yeah, I got a lot of catching up to do with Steven Wilson, but that's going to happen soon. Fingers crossed I can find some Porcupine Tree vinyl. I think I've seen one Porcupine Tree vinyl, and that was down in Portland. And I went to a store one day, and then like a few days later, it was gone. I went back, and it was so. Yeah, you snooze, you lose. I don't know if it was original. It was probably a reissue. I can't remember. It looked like it had 3 pills on it. You know, the like contact type pills, caplets or whatever they are, but arranged like that, like a triangle, and then kinds of swirly things and clouds in the background, bluish cloud backgrounds. There's a couple of dollar finds, but kind of nice. So this is just a perfect pressing of Man Across the Water, Elton John. On the eating label, everything about it is minty fresh, untouched. Only $1. I didn't have it. That's a favorite album of mine. This one I'll buy all day long for $1. Probably one of my favorite live albums, if not my favorite live album. Peter Gabriel plays live. Something I noticed with this, I still haven't checked out my original On the spine, it actually has a price of $10.98 on it. I don't know if that was done for all of them or not. It's unusual to see a price actually printed on the spine of a record. Although I'm sure there's some others, but you don't see it very often. But again, nothing wrong with it. Those, the inner sleeves are a little, have been handled a little bit, but the cover and the discs inside are in great shape. It's only $1. Yeah. Okay, so let's just shift gears real quick. Well, I'll save that for later. Another time, as I say. Picked up some 45s recently, and thought I'd show some of those. This was one, again, it was a Sonic Boom, and I picked it up, and you see an EMI company label, and it's like, you almost want to pick it. I almost want to pick it up just for the EMI sleeve. And then I looked at it, it said Roger Taylor was the drummer of Queen. And I looked at it, and I didn't recognize the songs, and it said 1977, and I thought to myself, well, it's probably from his first solo album. And then I thought to myself, its first solo album didn't come out until like 1980, I don't think, which I have. And I couldn't remember exactly when it came out. But this said 1977, and that was about Day at the Races time, after Night of the Opera. And the songs are I Want to Testify and Turn on the TV. So it was mint condition. The covers just got a little bit of wear. Sleeves got a little bit of wear up top. But the disc is like it hadn't been touched. 49 cents. So I grabbed it. And I started looking for it online. And this is quite the collectible 45. Goes anywhere from 60 to a couple $100. So I was very happy to pick that up. And it's one of those that, it'll stay in my collection for as long as possible just because I've always been a big Queen fan. So that's a really cool thing. And Roger Taylor, if you have the Queen catalog, if you have just the Queen catalog up through the Game, from their first album up to the Game, here's something fun to do. If you have it digitized or you have the downloads of it, whatever, take all the Roger Taylor songs from the albums in order and put them on, burn them to a disc and play them, and it makes one great rock and roll album. It's just incredible. All the Roger Taylor songs that he sings and off of the Queen albums, just great. I highly recommend. It's just very cool to hear them all. This was just a weird little thing. It was like $1, but it's Funkadelic, One Nation Under a Groove, special EP, and it's got. The thing is, I think there's supposed to be 2 of these because this says side 3 and this says side 4. But the vinyl's like it's never been played. It's just in a plain sleeve. Doesn't seem to be a promo of any kind. But on one side it's Maggot Brain with Chant, Think It Ain't Illegal Yet. And then on side 2 it's Lunch Meat Phobia and PE Squad Doo-Doo Chasers. So yeah, it just says BSK special EP from 1977, Warner Brothers. So anyway, that just looked odd enough that I had to have it. Beatles, the Atlantic Oldies series, Beatles with Tony Sheridan. Tony Sheridan recently passed away. Ain't She Sweet, which John sings the lead on, and then Sweet Georgia Brown, which the Beatles play. Ain't She Sweet is basically a Beatles song, Beatles cover, and Sweet Georgia Brown is Tony Sheridan singing. So that's kind of cool. I've never seen this issue of it. Atlantic company sleeve as well. New Order, always looking for a New Order 45s, and everything's gone green. This is the blue cover, as you can see. It'd be great to collect all the different colors, and as I find them and they're affordable, I just might do that. I think there's 6, maybe 7. I'm not sure. Oh, there's potential for disaster. Things are going to come flying around. My very first Yellow Magic Orchestra, and it is the 5-inch single. Yes. And it is the 5-inch transparent yellow single. I'm not going to unfold that all the way, but I can finally do what Derek does with his 45s. I can hold a whole 45 in my hand like this. I'm just amazed whenever Derek can grab a whole 45 on the edges. He's got big hands. So, finally, I can do it. Anyway, this is I got to start picking up some albums. Not so easy to find, but I'll keep an eye out for them and pick them up as I do. Let's see. See, I knew that was going to happen. It's a matter of time. A couple of Third Man Record 45s that just came out, some live 45s. Hell Beach and the People's Temple, both psych bands, neo-psych bands that are signed up to Third Man Records, and I sampled them, like what I heard, so I picked them up, along with a couple other things, but I won't show those. Not too interesting. Okay. Some other things here. A couple of odd... Well, this is Epic, this one's Columbia. They're very similar, where one's called Dig This, one's called Heads Up. And they're basically sampler EPs, like 3 tracks on each side. One, you know, I don't think there's any names on here that I really know, although they sound pretty interesting, so I'm looking forward to listening to them. The Electric Lucifer, and it looks like an interesting cover. Good News, and Carl Perkins and NRBQ. It's kind of cool. Then Illinois Speed Press, Bobby Lester, and Tom Rush, who I've heard of. So on this one, what really caught my eye on this one was the Argent album. So it's a song from the Argent's first album. And it's got Shuggy Otis on here, Catfish, Jam Factory, Susan Carter, and Redbone. So those are just some sampler 45s that were really inexpensive that I picked up at Jive Time, I believe. I hear the end of the record, but I'm going to just go a few more things here, just because. Enola Gay, Orchestra Maneuvers in the Dark. I never bought this 45. This was my favorite song of theirs from when they came out. I think this was a big hit, a relatively big hit in the U.S. So, I should have been doing this. Why didn't I do this? And some pretty standard Beatles 45, the orange label here of Hello Goodbye and I'm a Walrus. Another variation, Penny Lane and Strawberry Fields, variation on the company label. I want to think this is the Canadian company label, or company sleeve that you see here. I'm not sure. Anyway. Oh, that. Not too interesting, not too interesting, not too interesting, not interesting. These are kind of interesting. These are kind of interesting. I'll finish with these. I have the 12-inch version of this on blue vinyl, but I didn't have the 45 of Genesis Spot the Pigeon, so I now have it. There you go. Got that. This is kind of a neat Atlantic promo. Fanfare for the Common Man. Emerson, Lake and Palmer. I don't know if it's stereo mono. It is stereo mono, so that's kind of strange from this. 1977, probably a fold down on the mono, but. And then this guy is the David Bowie China Girl picture disc. It's kind of neat. So, like I said, I just touched on some of the things that I picked up recently, and I have a long way to go to show you everything that I've got, which I'm not going to do on this particular clip, but I will do in the upcoming clip, because I'm going to just continue on in another clip right after this. Bye.